You know, one of the key things that has helped humans survive as long as we have is our ability to eat almost anything. And I'm not talking about just being an omnivore, being able to eat both plants and animals. And no, it's not just our digestive tracts that allow us to eat with such diversity. It is also this, our brains. Take this, for example, a piece of pigskin, but properly prepared, it is a piece of porcine heaven. It has been on more road trips than Cheetos. But how do you prepare pork rinds anyway? And who in the world first thought of them? That is what we are going to check out. Ted here. No, fried pork rinds originated in a date unknown to history, somewhere in the Iberian Peninsula, and largely they stayed there and in Spanish America. They made their introduction to the Anglophone world actually in Britain during the Industrial Revolution in the West Midlands area. You see, most families had pigs, and since most of the workers in the Industrial Revolution were poor, they wanted to make sure that none of the animal was wasted. Also, a factory worker needed a food that they could eat while standing up and operating a machine. Enter the fried pork rind. In North America, it was the Great Depression that brought the crispy skin to the fore, so to speak. You see, in the South, pigs were the protein of choice. But with the Great Depression, nobody wanted to waste anything, and they needed to be able to make sure that they could use every single part of the animal, and that included the skin. So here's how you do it. Since the skins are incredibly tough, it's hard to cut them with a knife, even a very sharp knife. So what I use is a good pair of kitchen scissors, and I start by cutting the skins into about 1-inch strips, and I'll continue doing that. And it's a gnarly process, I gotta tell you, but it'll be worth it in the end. Now, it helps to know where to be able to get the pork skins too. I go to my local Hispanic market or my international farmers market. Both of them carry them, and they're incredibly cheap. So the next step here is we're going to get the burner going. I'm going to put these into water, a lot of them there. And I'm going to bring this to a boil. I'm not sure if you can hear my dogs in the background right now. They're going nuts. They can smell these. I'm going to bring this to a boil and boil these for a good solid hour. Okay, these have been boiling now for a little over an hour. So I'm going to then take my trusty tongs and move them to a non-reactive bowl. And what I'm going to do is then take this and I'm going to put it in the fridge for about 2 hours. And for what it's worth, these are still inedible. There's almost no way you could chew those things. So we will get back to this in a couple hours. All right, we've moved on to the next section now. The skins have cooled. I will say they feel very funky. And I'm going to take them, hold them out like this, and I'm going to use a spoon to scrape and get the fat, chunks of the fat off, because we're not going to really want that. That would make these cracklings, not pork rinds. So that'll be a process that takes a little while, but we will work on through that and catch up with you in a bit. Okay, we have separated the fat from the pork rinds itself, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the pork rinds over to my dehydrator. I'm going to set the dehydrator at 165, 170 degrees for about 8 hours. Now, if you don't have a dehydrator, you can do this in your oven as well. What I want to caution you about, though, is if you have a gas oven, do not do this overnight because you don't want the fumes to build up. So whenever I do any dehydrating in my oven, I always make sure I'm around just in case, and that I'm not asleep. So important safety tip, I'm just going to move these to the dehydrator though and give them about 8 to 10 hours. Okay, I have pulled the pork skins out of the dehydrator. We're getting the oil now up to 400 degrees, and then we are going to start frying. Okay, gonna check the oil temperature. Yep, 400 degrees. So that's good. I've got the vent-a-hood turned up on high right now just because this can splatter a bit. And we are going to fry some pork skins. That is perfect. Now, when I fish these out, I'm going to season them immediately because they take the seasoning so much better when they're really, really hot. But look at that. That is magic. That is the good love. Oh, yeah. And I've got it set up here so that we have a... oh, that is so good. I am hungry already. And my dogs are very, very interested in this. Okay. So, going to put this over on the baking sheet to dry. And I'm going to season. Excuse the boarding house reach. But some really good sea salt there. And a dusting of some cayenne pepper. And now we do it again. Do you remember how we started off with some gnarly looking tough pieces of pigskin? This, my friends, is porcine perfection. And trust me, you're going to love this. You see, for every 1 ounce of fried pork rinds, there are 17 grams of protein, only 9 grams of fat, and no carbohydrates. So as snack foods go, they're not that bad. I hope that this has been fun and informative. For more fun travel tips, videos, and recipes, check out our website at historybytheplate.com. Oh, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. It is fun and free. Happy cooking.